Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. I'm here to bring you today's EFC 24/7 daily report. There's quite a bit going on the last couple of days in terms of transfer rumours. I'm not sure how legit some of it is, but we'll go through some of it and discuss it and see how credible we think some of these rumours are. Not just rumours as well as some other news to go through as well, actual news. But the first one we're going to talk about, and probably the headline of today's news, is linking Everton with Jack Grealish of Aston Villa. Obviously, a quality player. He's been there quite a while. He's been linked with a move away from there quite a lot. And the Football Insider claims Everton are apparently plotting a move for Aston Villa's Jack Grealish as they look to make him their headline summer signing. And Everton sources said that they believe they can lure him over the promise of working with Carlo Ancelotti. I'm not sure how credible that is at all, really, to be honest. Football Insider claims it's an insider, but I'm not so sure. But if it were solid, obviously quality player, we do need options in particularly central midfield. I know he's been playing a bit of central midfield and he's played out on the wing as well. He's versatile, which would be good. We've got a couple of left wingers already, but we could take Grealish in our squad, definitely, possibly play him in the middle. So he would be a good addition to any Premier League squad, I think, if that is legitimate at all. There's quite a bit coming in the Echo as well, obviously. They've filled up the page with a few rumours in the live feed today. Chris Beasley's been on that, and he's been posting several transfer rumours, including Everton still want Lingard of Galatasaray, a centre-back. His name's Christian Lingard. The DR Congo international recently returned to training, having been sidelined since November with a knee injury. Bit dodgy, but hopefully he'll be alright. Snapped up from Standard Liège for €8 million at the start of the season, following a loan spell. A 26-year-old who has a deal until 2022 in Istanbul. He's also on the radar of West Midlands rivals Aston Villa and Wolves. When you're being linked with a player, you'd rather be linked with someone... one of the first things I look for anyway is other clubs who've been linked with the same player, because that indicates the standard of the player straight away. When it's Aston Villa and Wolves, it's not the best. Obviously Wolves are getting themselves up there now, but you like to be linked with players who are interesting, better clubs than that. But maybe he'll be alright. I've not really heard much of him myself, to be honest. There's a few others though. Ola Aina, he was at Chelsea, a fast player. I remember his time in England, obviously London-born player. We've been linked with him today. He's over at Torino. I'll get those rumours up for you now, because he wouldn't be a bad signing at all. Blues have knocked on the door for Aina, claim Sport witnessing insider, trying to gain our trust with but these is coming from Gazzetta dello Sport in Italy as well, which the credibility of which can be questioned, although they do a lot of reporting. Obviously some of it is pure rumour, and the report says his versatility has been key to earning minutes on the pitch, as he's often played down on the left of their three at the back formation, but that hasn't stopped clubs from the Premier League to take notice and come forward. Everton are one of two English sides who have knocked on the door in Turin, the other being West Ham, for the London-born footballer, interested in a transfer when the next window reopens. For Aina, this is very tempting, as there is a desire from his end to once again be closer to his family. Costing Torino around €10 million. The player's value is now close to doubled, with Gazzetta reporting is now worth around €18 million. So, do we need... I fully doubt the credibility at all. I think a lot of international newspapers use Everton's name to advertise players. I do think so. I doubt the credibility of that one. One that's come up closer to home recently, though, is Jesse Lingard has been linked with Everton. Obviously, his Man United career hasn't been going to plan recently. He didn't have the best season before the season was interrupted. He's kind of fell out of favour a little bit, with a lot of Man United fans saying he's not good enough. But he's been linked with Everton and Arsenal. And Alex Bruce, son of Steve Bruce, who used to play in the Premier League for Hull, has weirdly came out and told Football Insider he's been linked with Everton and he's been linked with Arsenal. From what I've seen, he's a player that just needs to go and play. I'm a big believer that players need to play to show their potential. It's very difficult for a player to go into a team, play one game every 4 or 5 weeks. His opportunities at Man United have been a little bit limited. Some of the off the pitch stuff hasn't helped him. However, I think he would be a very good signing for Everton. He'd be a good signing for anybody. He's got big potential and needs someone to show a little bit of faith in him. Jesse Lingard plays as a central attacker midfielder mainly, and Ancelotti wants to play a 4-4-2, so I don't know how he fits into that one. A bit strange, maybe on the wing, maybe central midfield, which you can't really see him doing. Strange rumour again. There's just a lot of players who have been linked with Everton at the moment. Obviously, we know there's a lot of players linked with Everton in general, and some of them, quite a lot of them, most of them, aren't don't have much substance to them. But you can make what you will of these reports and the sources that they're coming from. Another one that's been doing the rounds over the last couple of days is Cedric Suarez. Everton Suarez. Not quite. Everton Suarez, obviously Gremio player from the Brazilian national team. He obviously did really well in the Copa America, stood out in that tournament, and I thought he'd get signed on the back of that tournament, but he hasn't. He's stayed at Gremio, and there's been reports that come out from area Napoli via Sport Witness again, saying that the truth is that last summer Everton's representative told Gremio's president, Romildo Bolzan, that he had a proposal from Napoli in his hands where Ancelotti was there, who was his great admirer. So obviously it looks like that's from Gremio's president as well, so it looks like there has. So Everton Suarez has been linked with Everton quite a lot in the past, and not a rumour that surprises me, but obviously a player, an exciting player who I would like to see in the club if they could make that happen in the future. You never know, that seems to be one of the more solid rumours with some substance to it. One of the more out there rumours has come from Sport today in Spain. Everton are one of the Premier League teams ready to bid for Philippe Coutinho. Barcelona are hoping to find another club willing to take him off their hands when the transfer window reopens. So that's obviously Barca have links with that newspaper, and I don't know if they're trying to offload the player by generating interest through the newspapers. I don't know. I don't think there's much in that rumour. Obviously, Coutinho, quality player, does have previous links, obviously, with our neighbours across the park, so that might be a bit of a weird one, to be honest, and I don't think it'll happen anyway, so we won't really have to worry about that. Something coming from another Spanish newspaper, though, AS, yesterday was about Sandro Ramirez, who was obviously out on loan at Real Valladolid, before his loan spell was interrupted, obviously, by the coronavirus, but he is said to be very comfortable where he is. Valladolid, there we go, got it in the end. We'll be happy to stay there. For this to happen, Sandro would have to make an economic effort to reduce his salary, obviously on a reported £120,000 a week at Everton. Obviously, the club are making a significant-ish contribution to his wages while they had him out on loan, but they would have to obviously buy the player and pay his wages in full, so he probably would have to take a wage cut. I'm not sure a club of their size would be able to handle £120,000 a week for Sandro Ramirez. Another one, obviously, Gabriel, I'm not sure how to say that last name, Magalhaes, maybe. Obviously, the centre-back from Lille has been linked with Everton quite a lot, and I think there is something in those rumours, to be fair, and there's been more. So obviously the player has been asked himself, and he said, I can see them, yes, every day. My friends send me things, clubs, lots of clubs. I'm happy because my work and everything I've done is rewarded. So obviously he's flattered by the interest. Whether that means anything will happen remains to be seen. In terms of solid news, though, there was news yesterday coming from the club. Everton have submitted an outline planning application to Liverpool City Council for a community-led legacy development at Goodison Park. The plans would see Goodison Park redeveloped to provide a range of community assets in L4 after the move to Bramley Moor Dock. So obviously, the legacy project that you might have seen if you attended the consultations, the public consultations that Everton held, you'll be familiar with some of these plans. But yeah, planning permission has been submitted, yet to be kind of approved by the council, but it's been submitted. Very ambitious plans, what to do with Goodison Park and the area, but obviously plans that would massively benefit the community. So I don't think there'll be much problem with those plans. They are cost a little bit of money, but if the council went to back them, then all should be good going forward. The last bit of news I've got to bring you today. Talks have taken place over the possibility that Everton's board could take pay reductions to help the club through the coronavirus pandemic have taken place. This move could help in talks with the squad over the possibility of player wage cuts or deferrals. That came a couple of days ago, that news, but we're bringing it today on today's report. Since then, Seamus Coleman has been, I've heard, a key figure between the club and the players in terms of negotiating what might happen. Obviously, the players together. News has come out today, quite a few players, Everton players involved, have announced that they are part of that, saying that they are willing to contribute money towards the NHS and in this really troubling time. So that's great, but whether they'll be able to take pay cuts as well as that to help out the club surviving is a different matter. So yeah, that was coming from the Echo. So talks have taken place with the board members taking pay cuts as well as the playing staff. So obviously troubling times, but that's the news I've got to bring you. Quite a little bit for you today, obviously, from the last couple of days on today's Everton EFC 24/7 daily report. Let us know what you think of those rumours. Some of them have more substance to them than others, and I think you've probably got my point of view from describing them to you. So let me know what you think and whether you'd like any of those players to come to Goodison Park. Be interesting to see in the comments. So obviously, like the video, subscribe to the Toffee Blues as well. And thanks a lot for watching, and join us next time.